Hello and welcome to This and That. I'm Dave Leese.
And I'm Jonathan Byer. Hello.
Hi, welcome to the skating lesson where we are going to discuss all things going on in the skating world, of which there's kind of a lot this week. So subscribe below if you are new here and smash that like button. Give us some love because like the skaters who are posting dance videos and old performances of when they won junior, like I saw one coach in Canada. You know, we need love and attention to people, okay?
Yeah, everyone needs a little validation.
Validation. Jonathan, there's just like so much going on this week. I'm getting a little excited because I've been working on some videos, and I actually had another video that I was working on about China, and I had been tipped off about Trusova leaving by someone who wasn't even Russian but knew, but I didn't expect it to go down when it did. And when I actually got a text that the article was out, I was mid-workout in the morning and I was like, oh shit, because I do Kristen's workout and my parents work out with me. My mom was like, why are you on your phone? What's going on? And like,
what big emergency? And
how are you in a plank and you're describing like, well, there's this sociopathic coach and she lost a student who's going to a narcissist. And now all hell is breaking loose in Russia.
Exactly.
Like, how do you even discuss
How does one begin to approach the subject? In several shorter videos. That's how
There's a girl who like looks like she's never cut her hair. Like, yes.
It's a thing.
It's a thing. Yes.
Yeah.
So you told me before you signed on that you have questions. Okay. So it started that we learned that Sasha Trusova has left Sambo 70, the Krustalny rink, and she is now going to become a Plushenko Ice Angel, along with.
So first, we're going to backtrack it. In order for me to understand this, I've got to go chronologically here. So we all know our good friend Trusova, right?
Yes.
Now, it's my understanding that, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm just summarizing here. One of the coaches at Evgeni's rink is the coach that initially taught her, correct?
Yes, Alexandra Volkov.
Okay, and at that point, when she started winning her 2 junior worlds in that junior Grand Prix final, she was already with Eteri then, correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay, great. So all of that success was with Eteri.
But her base to her content was from Volkov, and that's why Plushenko made that shady remark that Eteri also poaches kids, because now she gets a lot of kids who already have triples before they come to her. It's not like she's taking a kid from a waltz jump
work
to
is
a quad.
finished by then.
Yes.
Right? As Raphael will say. The education to get to that point is actually
now it's like, they used to have things that were called like you have your elementary kind of coach, your beginner coach. You have your junior coach who's kind of taking you through like intermediate, novice, junior, and then you have like your finisher, right? And Tarasova was like a real finisher packager. Eteri's kind of bridging that gap. She has the tackiness of a junior coach that we expect that doesn't really know how to finish and package and put it all together. But she's, she's a street fighter. So she's kind of like,
true.
Listen, she came up from like the dirt, right? Like
she's scrappy.
She's a
which
street
we love
urchin.
about her.
Yes.
Exactly.
Okay.
So,
but she, to me, Ominya, Eteri Georgievna Novoruskaya. Don't you get the vibe that she's kind of new money? I mean, does she not have that kind of Gucci, trashy, in your face?
Yes, based on the labels alone and dressing.
Also,
what I mean?
The fact
it's
that she was
to own
considered such a joke of a skater in her day by Tarasova, by everyone, right? And she has that motivating her. And that is why she has been wounded. This woman has been wounded,
Yeah.
She's married a billionaire like her
She's
sister.
looking for that validation also. I mean, it's 100%. And again, we don't necessarily... This is an interesting juxtaposition because we have someone like Plushenko who's obviously achieved a lot of titles, is how I'll word that, in his career. And
she has a beautiful wife.
But who's to say who's going to be the better coach here? But I'm intrigued...
But Plushenko's not really the coach. He's more of a
maybe
figurehead.
Neither is Eteri.
He's more of a figurehead than Eteri is. Eteri is becoming more of a figurehead.
She's transitioning to just brand. Yeah.
I mean, she spends more time on vacation. She's been in Detroit during quarantine, and
she's delegating. Okay.
They said that as she has left, so people within the ring said that as Eteri has, spends less and less time with her skates on. She spent more time with her skates on with Medvedeva and Zagitova, and less time now that she has so many girls, and they're all just winning. And it's just like...
Okay. It's overwhelming. Yeah, really.
Okay. Really,
so
listen, she is at the stage where she is going to find her billionaire oligarch, come in, tell the girls that they are fat and lazy and worthless, and that they don't... You saw the Over the Limit movie? This is how this works. She comes in better outfits. She yells at them more. She gets in their face. Then they win and she hugs them. And then a month later, she's like, they were really nothing without me anyway. So
amazing. Yeah, totally about the athlete, for sure.
Yes, now we're going to get that fan Alex, who writes like long things on here. He's a little special. And he was the one that he was like, I think this is about Sasha's issues with men in her life. And that's why she...
If you think it has anything to do with her. But I mean, my question is, when was when was that rumor going around? In the winter.
I believe there was some truth to that rumor.
No, I believe that too. And it actually was the most intriguing thing I had heard.
He called me after one of my Russian videos. Dave, it is my favorite thing you ever did. Like, I was like...
Amazing.
Actually,
amazing.
It's funny because I was looking at Reddit and like people were like, oh, they all hate them. When I did the video, Team Tutberidze, I got so many calls from high-level coaches who were, it was like Halloween as a child when you have that like bag of candy, how much some of these people enjoy.
Endless gifts. Yeah. Oh my God.
Oh, I love it. Like people I didn't even expect to hear from. You're like, oh, you what? Oh, okay.
Oh yeah. No, surprise, surprise. Here's the thing. So she was it was clear she's middling, right? Amidst that group. Well, a third place finish.
She has no skating skills or artistry. So if she doesn't land the jumps, it's over. But,
and then do you think there's truth to she felt slighted by hearing your, reading where they were talking about how maybe Trusova wanted to go for broke and they were saying play it safe, but even when she played it safe, she failed. So actually, it made me respect that coaching staff a little bit because that ideology made sense to me.
Right. Like not everything that they thought about that situation was wrong. The fact that they said that she got nervous, that's an interesting word. I don't know if nervous is she is a very driven competitor. It's actually why I don't think that Trusova is motivated as much by having the girls in the rink. I think that she could see the girls competing on TV and then want to go get in the rink.
I agree 100%. 100%.
So I don't believe that she's solely driven by being next to them, right?
Mm-hmm.
I believe that she is driven, and she's getting older. When you're a kid, I think that training next to someone, when you have that kind of motivation, is important. When you become more of an adult and you're going for real titles, you should have the kind of internal motivation where you could be able to train and really push to get the job done. So I think, frankly, also the fact that she won't be there doing quads will also affect the other girls in terms of motivation. I mean, they have so many girls that are doing quads at Sambo 70, but she was obviously the most prolific and the most stable with her jumps.
Right.
But I think a problem came in this season where all of the Eteri girls were starting to put in quantity over quality. And this goes even beyond their normal technique. And you could say what you will about their Lutzes and how they do that technique, of which the ISU has not taken a stand on, and I don't expect them to because it's now the Russian technique. But they were putting in flips that were very sloppy and very rushed, and they would kind of drop their shoulders on the takeoff and then fall. And you would see with Sherbakova and with Trusova, not the most stable jump, Trusova's Salchow also. So I think that for her, it kind of became clear when they moved into the seniors, and that the junior level, they didn't mark her components as harshly. Everyone always babies it. If we critique a junior, it's a junior skater, you're being so mean. And that's when they can still fix it, right? Like that's when they can still improve.
Exactly.
When you get into senior, like
you've established what you do in a way. Yeah.
The turkey is half baked. What are you going to change now, honey? Right? Like it's window dressing. So I think for her, they can work a bit on her components and stuff, but it's going to be about solidifying the technique and really improving it. So it's interesting. Her father is a boxer, who was a boxer. So much so that he once almost punched Volkov out during a disagreement when they coached before. These are like very fun people, right? Like he does he's been in charge of her off-ice training. He's why she is so physically fit. If you ever watch the videos, she has the most sturdy body of all of these girls. So she comes from some strong stock. You know, one of our Russian sources. We're trying to find an appropriate name for her. She's like, we'll think about it. We can come up with something from Russian literature. She's the one that when I asked about Yana, said, I thought you'd never ask.
Yeah, and amazing.
So I was she was just reviewing this, and she said to me, she chose her code name. Her code name, Ekaterina Petrovna. Okay?
Great.
Ekaterina Petrovna.
We'll have to research why it's relevant. Okay.
Yeah, we can research. So she goes, Eteri really loves terrorizing girls. She must be upset now because she can't trash Trusova as much because of Yana. And also, Trusova's dad will not take bullshit either. He almost beat up Volkov when she was training with him. He is an accomplished athlete in boxing and her off-ice coach. So he was against her being on the drugs. And when they had disagreements with Volkov, there was yelling and he almost beat up Volkov because of Trusova. So...
Okay.
These are just like really great things. She also is on the forums where Marina Hoffman posts in Russia. So like she has really done so much work for TSL.
Okay.
Ekaterina Petrovna like delivers. All right.
Okay.
Jonathan?
I got it. Like dominoes, one might say.
Much classier. Okay.
Okay.
She helps with pronunciation. She helps find the articles. You know.
Okay. We love this.
We love her. Okay.
Okay.
And she's not one of the, and she can help us dissect the fan groups. Like, because traditionally the most nationalistic fans were behind Trusova because she was seen as being Eteri's favorite last year until Kosternaya became so beloved around the world. They realized how much money they could make off from her and how beloved she was by the judges. And then she became the new
But it's so interesting because in one of the videos you were talking about how the kind of nationalistic view of Kosternaya was that she's more of a Western skater. And that's so interesting because I am inclined to agree with that. If by Western you mean artistic with edge quality, then yes, she's more Western. So
but it's interesting
really
because
respond to that.
The Russian ice dancers and pair skaters have always had beautiful edge quality. It's a singles thing where they are...
And we'll talk about it because I was already starting to rewatch 2002. And we do meet a Ukrainian single skater who used to be a pair skater. And you do see the inherent difference in maybe the way they were brought up, albeit in the same system, but different discipline. Yeah.
Listen, Elena Bechky did ballet every day. You could tell. All right.
Right. I mean,
also never knew how scary Elena Bechky was. Love her. Okay.
Well, I just always loved tennis.
You should.
Yeah. Right. Good job, Chen Lu.
I don't think Elena's a fan of that Chen Lu. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Well, think about it. They were divorced, touring together on Stars and Ice when he started to date Chen Lu. But he's still like lifting her up by the hoo-ha, doing lifts. Like that's awkward,
on the
Jonathan.
same tour. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's a unique set of circumstances.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sort of intrigued what happens now with the marks. They have a habit of when people leave Sambo 70, they might have been in store for a dip in their results regardless.
Yeah.
Obviously. And that's how you know how pointed and
they
how
know how to get
biased
rid of the girls when their bodies are starting to fail.
are about to do it. For instance, the bias when they were saying Medvedeva struggled the next season because she wasn't with Eteri. And it was like, no, she actually struggled the previous season and was about to struggle regardless.
Do you love the revisionist history where now Medvedeva left in the right way, but she just struggled with results without Eteri? Well, actually, Eteri told her that she should go have babies, and basically, you're done. And I have to say...
She wasn't not totally wrong.
She wasn't wrong. She might be wrong on how she said it, and
100%.
did it, and didn't have, like, a conversation about, like, diminishing returns, but... It's a lot of complicated things, you know, like I've been having, when Lori Hernandez said the thing about her coach, right? Saying that she was going through puberty and that it was going to be harder for her to make the Olympics based on like, it's so hard because as a coach, there is truth to that. But how do you say that in a way that's not going to screw someone up for life?
Because there's nothing for you to do really as a result of it. Do you know what I mean? Like the body will change.
If you try to fight it, you could screw someone up for life more than they already are being in one of these sports. So it's
right.
But, you know, one of the Russian coaches said about, I think it was Alexander Alexandrov, I might be wrong, but there was an interview after one of the Olympics, and he said that if it were 6 months later, Shawn Johnson wouldn't have even been in the Olympic Games. But that's how openly they talk about puberty and things over there and what it does to your strength to weight ratio and things like that. So anyway, it's depressing talk and like very...
Well, it's really tricky waters to navigate, but we happen to know that for Trusova, she might have been on the chopping block in the judge's mind anyway, moving forward, depending on who moved up.
People
in Russia
felt
alone.
that she was the most vulnerable at Worlds should Rika skate beautifully, but I don't think Rika really had the material
or the consistency to maybe pull that out right now.
That free skate was really bad this year about the...
Yeah. It would have been intriguing. I mean, obviously, we wish it would have happened for many reasons, but I would have been interested to see how it all shook down, although I think we know. You know,
Kosternaya is the world champion in our hearts, but technically Zagitova is the reigning world.
I know, right? We thought she wasn't going to get one, and now she's technically reigning for twice, for 2 full seasons. Yeah, so I think the judges
and he shall reign forever and ever.
Hallelujah, Dave. Hallelujah. Okay. This whole thing is really fascinating because we'll see what happens and who choreographs. Because then you were saying there was speculation about who would choreograph for Trusova. And of course, the hilarity that she would be getting more skating skills by going to anyone associated with
That was
Plushenko.
The funniest thing is that Alex Arashev I called the other day because he types and I ever tell you that I get a holiday greeting from Alex Arashev every holiday. Like, this is the wonderful thing about this.
Okay.
Dave, Merry Christmas. Like, Happy Thanksgiving, you know? So I called him because it's like calling family, right? You're like...
of course. Uncle Alex.
Dave, I'm feeling sad for Eteri. And I'm like, why? She would not be feeling sad for you. And he goes, that's true.
It's so true. It's very true. Yeah.
But I know you put work in with kid, you know. And then he was like, how Plushenko going to teach her how to skate? And I'm like,
it's true.
True.
Or who's he going to find to help her? Who is that person in Russia? We know when people need to call like Tanith or Lori or Ben or somebody to be working on these.
He's making the move. Okay.
Okay.
How about how Hot Sergey has had a come up in the last week? People barely knew who Hot Sergey was.
Even when we were covering Junior Worlds and things like that, he was still like a newish figure on the scene. In the
like Kanye West, we made that bitch famous, okay? Like,
Esther, you're welcome. Yeah.
We kid, okay? We are not serious before you go, and you all say anyway. It's a reference to pop culture, okay?
And I keep thinking you're talking about Doug Rosano half the time. I'm like, wait,
also
Doug
very
Rosano?
Attractive. Okay.
Yeah, but I was like, he's working with Trusova? What's happening? Yeah, okay.
Sergei Rozanov is moving. He used to be good friends with Danny G.
Yeah, because Danny made it sound like he had to pull strings and even in order for him to get that job. Now is how
he did, but he's the one that worked with Veronika Zhilina and her sister, and he is the one who was on Ice Age, and he worked with Arseny Fedotov, you know who, and Artem, and many of those kids. And he's the one that has Veronika skating to Sia. I mean, this is someone that we can get behind. He at least has better taste in music than Danny G. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Well, I'm also intrigued because someone said, or you mentioned that Samsonov's name was kind of...
You know, there have been rumors about Samsonov and Usashova. I think because Usashova has struggled, and when she worked with Rozanov, because he works with them kind of until they go on the Junior Grand Prix, and he still works with them after on their jumps, but he's not like a main manager coach. I think that and I don't know, I haven't seen like every competition, but she was doing the same content and was seemingly more stable with him. And I get the vibe that she's a little bit nervous in competition. Okay. And who knows if that's because she's in like the bigger leagues. She's in the bigger leagues and in the bigger group, but you can tell that it's not quite working for she's skating from nerves and fear.
She had a tight season in general. Yeah.
So that would make sense to me if she left. And I don't think that they would be sad about that one. We haven't really seen a quad from her, like...
Well, and she's someone who, it was interesting to hear when people were saying, well, they need a training center where they're competing nonstop. But we've talked to, especially other ice dancers, it's also exhausting.
Yeah.
It's also so draining to do that. So if these girls are able to maintain, the competition is so intense for them at the actual events that I think maybe training offsite for someone like her may give her a bit of respite from it, and she can actually do some more work, even just away from that intensity, and bring it at the competition. I don't know. It will be interesting to see.
Not everyone does well with every personality type. I think that people act now that because Eteri has had success that she's like she has the magic potion, right? And like only
probably for a type of girl and a type of skater. But if you,
it will be hard though to compete with her, knowing that she'll find another girl who can do many of this, and then they will be more consistent, and then they'll start to get the results, because as we know, these components are all BS and they climb over time. Right. So it's interesting, but it's so funny it's so funny that the pro-Russian articles, because some of the press is very pro-Eteri, and we're going to talk about that. So there was a skater who once left Eteri and spoke out. Her name was Polina Shubadarova.
Not my girl. I was like, Polina,
we talked about this maybe 18 months, 2 years ago, and she kind of spoke out about training with Eteri, and she wanted to switch countries. Eteri was so mad about the article that they threatened to not release her, the federation, to another country. And then her parents had to get lawyers involved and get the journalist to take it down. And they were able to say that the parents didn't give written approval for that article to be on the website. So it was taken down from the Russian website. I think it was on that website, FS Gossips, translated, if you go back in the archives. But you are not allowed to speak out. So that's why people always say, why hasn't this one spoken out? Or this, we hear... snippets. So
well, and twice in a row now for these high-profile exits for everyone to be like, they didn't do it right. Like, for God's sakes, do you have a manual you expect everyone to follow?
Jonathan, they are always messaging these girls who just don't write them back.
Yeah.
Also, how creepy is it? They don't have Safe Sport over there, and it's not like Lambiel and Dennis.
Right.
Who just the saying. ISU posts living together training with no irony, right? Like that.
I know there's some like, is this cute or is this inappropriate? I don't.
They don't hide it, right? It's just
even weirder.
Anyway, what were we talking about?
Talking out. It's just speaking out.
Danny G, like as if he's like texting his young teenage student, and she's just like ghosting him. Like there are different protocols. You're like, oh, that seems potentially problematic. Like, okay.
100%.
Just like a little, okay.
Do you think that there's like that equivalent thing going on in the U.S.? Like if someone was to really make a big high-profile coaching change like that?
Oh, I thought you were going to ask me if Safe Sport was a thing in Russia. And I was thinking, imagine explaining to Eteri why Maggie Haney got suspended. Could you even like, how would you explain to her?
Because to them, the results are first. So if she got the results, what's the problem? Yeah.
But many of the fans start to believe that too.
I agree.
So, but could you imagine explaining to Eteri, Maggie Haney was
mean. She said not nice things. Like, literally, she would be like, what?
She laughed at the girls. She called them fat. She made them train when they were injured. She'd be like, right. So what'd she do that got her kicked out? Yeah, like, oh my God. Could you imagine?
It's horrible. It seems from my perspective.
One time, Natasha, my old coach Natasha, asked me why Jenny Kerr quit skating. Like, I couldn't find the words to be like, you mean she was too skinny? Meanwhile, Natasha was telling me that she thought that Asian skaters should go back to their native countries and eat just rice and vegetables. And I was like, first of all, they were born here, Natasha. Like, that is...
Yeah, secondly, like, don't say stuff like that. Like, dear Lord. Please have the wherewithal to whisper and be ashamed that you're saying it. Like, holy cow. Crazy. It's crazy.
She's not very pro-Eteri. But when Tarasova speaks on the TV, she's very pro-Tarasova.
Tarasova still trumps it. Okay.
Well, no. I think now she's judging Tarasova. She's behind the power. Don't you worry. Okay.
Got it. But I need to just clarify something that happened with the U.S. coaches this week, Dave.
Oh, no.
No, I mean, a little something on the Twitterverse.
Perhaps. Oh, okay.
Hit me. I'm curious what Tom Z has been up to.
Oh, dear God. Jonathan.
Now I'm just going to have this glass of water. Go.
So, not to get, like, political, because that's really not what this is about. I mean, I'm taking that out. I was out. I live, like, outside of the city. Things are not good here with coronavirus, right? Taking all that out, I think that there's something very tone deaf about Tom Z thanking the political leaders for how they handled coronavirus. And at the same time, showing the kids back on the ice, skating in masks immediately in Colorado Springs. There's just something very insensitive and tone deaf about this. And then something extremely delusional, thinking that anyone gives a shit in the White House what Tom Z thinks about their handling of the coronavirus. And I tweeted about it, okay? I had a moment where I had
to let it out. You had to let it out.
I had to let it out. I obviously would text, like, you or someone else, like, these thoughts. But it felt beyond that. You know, like, when Tom Z does things, and some of these skating coaches, like the Canes, or... I'm trying to think who else is, like, exceptionally, like, full of it.
Tone deaf.
Tone deaf.
Yeah. I think it's the perfect term for a lot of these situations.
I just felt like... You know that when you're watching TV by yourself and something so crazy is happening and you look over and you're like, and as if the imaginary queen on the couch next to you, and you want to be like,
is equally as appalled and shocked as you.
Yes.
Yeah. Like, are you kidding me with this right now? 100%.
It was like, and it was Tom Z's post. There were like 6 or 7 slides in there on Instagram. Okay. He believes his own crazy, like, so strong. Or when he was going to do an off-ice class from double jumps to quads. And you know that he's just trying to find that next delusional skating mom with money who's going to be like, Tom Z will teach my kid a quad.
Well, he's got to have hustle. He's a freelancer that's losing all this money, too. As if Vincent
ever, like, got the rotation consistently. And then they did it together, and it looked like they hated each other on screen. It was very awkward, okay?
Okay. Well, she figured if Corey and Jason can be presenting together, then he and Vincent can, too. Yeah.
So awkward.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going about as well as we would expect in Nashville. Someone called me about that this week. They were...
Okay.
Anyway. Anyway, yeah.
So they're back up and running.
So I guess some, right? But Tom Z, I don't believe in, like, shading someone and, like, tagging at them and, like, anything. It was just like, is this real life? Okay?
Yeah.
It just felt like Tom Z is a strong character, okay? It was all we needed to know. Also, I was tagged in this post. You know, like, it was not as if I was just...
Trolling.
You tagged me wanting me to see this. Did you want me to share it?
And your takeaway was what it was.
God bless.
It was not a share, look, we're so excited everybody's back. It's,
So he tweeted at me and texted me at the same time. So I was like, I'll just respond on Twitter. Like, when someone responds, if someone's going to like text you and tweet at the same time, do you have to reply in both places? I wasn't sure the protocol.
You're just consolidating your time and efforts. Yeah.
I always try to like take a deep breath before I respond and like try not to be too snarky and like, you know. So I just like collected myself. I like, you know, did my little, and I just wrote, I was just shocked to be tagged in such a tone-deaf post. And I felt like it's all we needed. Okay. As if, like, you really, like, couldn't you just see, like, Kellyanne Conway walking into Trump and being like, Tom Z thinks you did a great job.
We got Tom Z.
We got Tom Z. And then when he does his, you know, like when Trump does his press conferences and he lists all the companies, the great American companies that we love, and the ones, you know, when CNN, like, flips off, I think that he could be like, hey, we've got Tom Z helping our skaters get to 18th place in the World Championships. Like,
Periodization charts for everyone. Yeah.
Like, it's just so people. You know how they say that money makes people become more of themselves? Quarantine makes people become more of themselves too.
Isn't that interesting? Yeah.
I've become like compulsively working and like Tom Z has become marketing with full of BS more than ever, and we have like the coaches who are into themselves are making their names on social media. It's so interesting to me. They've just become...
Some look in, Dave, and some look out, and so it's very clear which of those people are looking outward in this moment instead of inward. So there you go.
It's an interesting set of circumstances.
Yeah, that I think if you played it right, you could come out of this ahead in PR, but like you got to think about it. You just got to think for a second about the way to do
is so special. Okay.
What is so special?
Tom.
Oh, yes.
Jonathan, he fails with a skater in terms of the full package every year.
Citing Carolina Costner as hope. Like, look how long it took Carolina Costner. And we were like...
And yet...
But she worked on it. I think that was the point.
You know, I am so grateful that there are still videos of like the 1988 U.S. Figure Skating Championships so that we can watch Tom Z skate with that mullet, getting that 3.8 for artistry, and I'm like, it makes so much sense.
From whence you've come. I mean, if you're ingrained to have a certain belief system on how you train and what should take emphasis, you're going to, one would think you teach in a similar way.
To watch Max Aaron, and to watch Tom Z skate, and to watch Brandon Morose, and to watch Ryan Bradley, and to watch many of the
Rachel
other greats.
Flatt.
It all makes so much sense, right? Like that
100%.
soulless technical skating where they look like they hate what they are doing. It is really.
Or it looks like they're doing a thing. They look like they're doing track and field or something, and they're about to do their next thing. Yeah.
But I feel like track and field stars, I often have enjoyed them at the Olympics. Some of them have personality. Flash, if you will. Do you remember Gail Devers? She had those like fabulous nails as she went over the hurdles. I think she missed in the hurdles once, and then she did well. Was it
FloJo that wore all the colorful tutu-y skirts?
Loved FloJo. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Fabulous. Michael Johnson had like the gold shoes with the spikes.
Personality.
Samari screen personality.
Flair, yeah.
Tom Z skaters have none of that. They are from Colorado. It is devoid of personality, okay? It's like South Park on ice, okay? I enjoy...
Amazing. South Park has personality.
You know what I'm getting at, Jonathan.
I know.
I'm hinting. I feel that when you watch Tom Z skaters, they don't have maybe they're like a shot putter. I don't know any of those athletes, nor do I care to. They don't have fabulous nails, not doing the hurdles. Like,
very rarely wear a tutu while they're doing it.
Yeah. Maybe they could be shot putters on ice, those Tom Z skaters, okay?
Yeah. Some of them might be downright good at it.
I digress.
It's just so funny that, like, you can have a sport and something that draws me to it is clearly what does not bring someone else to it.
I was thinking about that. I was talking... There was another Russian coach messaging me last night, and she was saying that if they combined some of the new rules with some of the old rules, you'd have a really happy medium. And I'm like, that's really true, because I do love the old skating. But we do see when we go back and judge some of these events where filling in has really enhanced some of the skating levels, for sure. But what the new skating lacks is the personality and the definitive styles and some of that big open speed and some of the excitement factor that is missing, that you can't just measure in a skating skills mark, because now they have to do all this clutter and they can't go as fast.
Well, and you can't just measure in a choreographic sequence. You can't just say, now be emotive here.
You need someone to emote with the sweat dripping off of their faces like Paul Wiley.
Wiley, yeah.
You need it to take them from one end of the ring to the other just to raise an arm over the head.
That's right.
Okay?
Yeah.
Paul took his time.
He took up his own space. He took up space and, yeah.
Remember, the only technical critique that Peggy Fleming ever gave us, she's holding her moves out so much longer than last season. She's really matured.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And Peggy was right. Okay?
Yeah. Dorothy was probably more right, but as we know, she might have been silenced as a commentator because she was good.
Do you think she upstaged Dick and that's why he didn't choose her? He did choose between Dorothy and Peggy.
Yeah, and Dorothy really had some tremendous insight when we go back and watch those videos.
He would have fought with Dorothy Hamill. I think Dorothy is an alpha.
Yeah.
And Peggy knew. I think Peggy's mother was the real alpha. And
I think Peggy, you hear it enough, like, I feel like Peggy could laugh with Terry Gannon at times to laugh it off. Because also in getting ready for the 2002 Olympics, I went back and watched the 2002 Nationals.
Yeah.
So it was interesting to see both commentating teams. And it was funny because Dick would just like go on, and then you could tell Peggy was like, yeah, whatever. Okay.
Well, Dick had hit his head again by that point, Jonathan. Okay.
Poor guy. He was, in retrospect, he was always right.
He was always right.
Everything he says now. But at the time, I really
people now say
like,
that he's mean when they go back. Like, they say that we're mean, Jonathan. And then they become older and they were like, oh, yeah.
Yeah. Right?
There was one fan who was mad at me for years, and then we reconnected. And he was like, I get your humor more now. I was like, oh, thank you.
Yeah, you gotta laugh at all this stuff. It's ridiculous. I mean, that's the joy and the guilty pleasure of so fanatically following the Russian drama unfold. Because there's something quite farcical about the whole. There's a frivolity and a ridiculousness, yet it's
honestly,
such gravitas and dramatic.
I have no side in this. You have a sociopath and a narcissist. What side do you choose?
Fighting over a girl who can accidentally spin really fast in the air, but that's about it. Do you know what I mean? It's like so it is a fascinating thing to kind of almost not have a horse in that race, to also, just see this unfold.
To say that she needs to have a better choreographer, and Alexei Zeleznyakov, who teaches the girls the boogie-woogie dances, is the one who's worried about her artistic improvement, and saying that she should hire a Terry, who already did her previous terrible long program. I mean, there's just comedy in all of this. Okay.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
You have to just... Now, how about Plushenko's wife? I mean, we have heard whispers, but she is really delivering, okay? Because skating has gotten really flippin' boring. There aren't that many characters. There aren't that many top coaches anymore. We have to be excited by Tom Z's antics. I mean...
I do think the Trusova story was always going to gain traction, like in a major way, because of the players involved. But I think that it's even more ramped up now because we literally have nothing else to. We're not hearing about anyone getting new programs. We're not hearing about
the fans that don't understand the subtleties of shade, and they don't realize that Plushenko is giving his wife flowers, even like with a wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Right.
That he's giving it to her for Mother's Day or for whatever, but there's a reason that they had flower posts 2 days in a row. I mean,
Right.
you have to just appreciate.
Yeah, there's a tongue-in-cheek quality to all of this. And I mean, I wonder if he almost finds it all humorous.
I mean, I would think. Right. I mean,
yeah, because I think the coaching for him is like a cute novelty in its own way. He doesn't need it to work out.
I think he will be more involved with her as like a finisher. Mm-hmm. And don't you want to see him at the boards doing some theatrics?
He'll give you the show.
Because Volkov isn't really attractive enough. Like, we like a hot skating coach. Like, hot Sergey needs to keep his look together. He cannot be hitting the vodka and cigarettes like Danny G. We need him to look fresh-faced.
Yeah, he's got to be the beauty of the team if Plushenko's going to be the Flash. Yeah.
Yes. We want them looking very svelte, very glamorous.
Right. You have looking tasteful, because then we assume that the choices being made within the program are going to err on the side of tasteful as well, whether or not that's the case.
Is Dima Bilan still a thing, or is he over? Like, can we have Sasha Trusova do some of like the Plushenko miming, doing that violin music in place? Some of that beautiful.
Well, that's the thing, you know, where we know someone like Vincent was smart to include Mia Hamada, because suddenly we think his PCS might be improving even when it's not by mere association. It's not necessarily what she's going to get here. I don't know that any judge will be like, oh, Plushenko, that explains the new deep knee and edges. Yeah. So
it's beautiful.
Yeah. So I'm intrigued. Maybe he'll help her technically. Let's see what happens.
He can help her with the triple axel, because Eteri's girls have always struggled with the axel in their technique. I tell you, I'm actually taking a jump lesson tomorrow from a Russian Olympic champion who is known for a triple axel, Jonathan. Because Viktor Petrenko did a Zoom class with all of us. And he is of the old school kind of Russian triple axels, where you like with arm strength and you step up into that bad boy.
Almost, because he used to almost lead with his chest instead of like the swing from his hip or something. Like Tanya just like hurdled her body, but he almost like just like the sternum takes him right up into it. Even when we were talking 88, his performances in 88, that jumping was...
So we did his jump class, and I don't know what it was about the exercises that we were doing, because I've done several off-ice jump classes, and I did it with like Isadora and Kailani, and I felt like I got some good tips and information. Just the way he had us warm up, and then what he did. And he just like had us start doing these drills. And he had us doing like basically like jump double loops, right? And I don't know if it was like the speed or what it was that we were doing them with, or like the focus. I was sweating like Paul Wiley. I mean, I was schwitzing. I was like, holy crap. I'm like, I need to work with
Was Victor doing it with you?
He was showing some of this stuff. I mean, he didn't do because he was kind of watching. Like,
okay.
He would actually, because that's the hard thing on Zoom is you're either demonstrating or you're watching. It's hard to do both. So he would do like one or two, and then like show and then correct, and then we would redo it. I actually felt like I got a lot from it. You know, it's like from an educator point of view. So yeah, he was really like telling us what we should be doing with our arms and things like that, and like giving us tips for how like what to do with your leg in the air and stuff like that. So it was good, but yeah, it was just funny. And I was like, Igor, I said, tell Viktor Petrenko you have the most talented, nicest student ever with all of the money who wants to take all of the lessons.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
Yes. Okay.
I think it would be a wealth of information. Who does he cite teaching him?
I don't know. We're gonna have to find out. I don't know if
because again, Galina was probably his finisher.
Yeah, I mean, he worked with him for a long time, but there were other figures that would be with them at the boards at different times. So
yeah,
I don't know. He's
intriguing.
I know. My dream is to have just like a big axle, Jonathan, like bam for competition.
Like his, yeah.
My big Polish thighs are going to go to work, okay, like that.
Oh, then you need Anna. What was her name? Not Rechino.
Rechnio. Anna
Rechnio. Yeah.
Like my girl, okay.
Yeah, exactly.
I have some Polish blonde girls in my family too, okay. Maybe not natural, but you know.
Okay, yeah, if that happens, you know.
They all seem to have the same color of hair.
Do they skate with Brian Orser?
They don't. Not in my
family.
Okay.
Because he's got the Polish skater now.
And actually, so Igor Lukanen is involved with the Azerbaijani Federation, even though he's from Moscow, but represented Azerbaijan. Anyway, he was also fake German once upon a time. But one of their skaters is actually is a Plushenko Ice Angel, that Azerbaijani girl.
Who we saw, was it a European?
She was quite good at the Europeans.
Yeah, she snuck into, like, I think one of the she did really well in one of the programs in particular.
So she's going to help Trusova with this competition in the rink. Maybe she can get some of those quads.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think she's in any danger of ever coming near a Trusova score, but at least she's of a certain level.
She's a prettier skater.
Well, that's the thing. So let's see if she's with more, people that are edgier. I don't know.
Sergey can have her skate to Sia, okay? Maybe, like, who knows what he has on that playlist, all right? We don't know.
So Long Farewell or something. Or
I mean, he was helping a lot of them get quads and stuff with that, so.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'll be intrigued to see this unfold. So I didn't know if they announced now because maybe they're about to all go back.
I think...
And did you say in one of your videos that she was in Egypt?
They said that she was on vacation in Egypt after...
I was like, oh, wait, I must have misheard that. I thought he said she was in Egypt.
You have to remember that when you're in Europe, and depending on where you are, it's not as dramatic to go from, like, one country to the other, right? Because even when I was studying abroad in London, the flights are so cheap between, like, one part of the world and another that... I mean, we went to Poland for a weekend. We went to France for a weekend.
But you would also have been an American passport, like a Russian passport going to Egypt. I was just sort of surprised by what
to go
brought
from
her
Russia
there
to Egypt
right
may not be as dramatic. Like, I think they vacation in some of these places, and it's not...
Oh, of course. Northern Africa becomes their Caribbean, if you will.
Yeah.
But, like, I'm just surprised what she was doing there around this time.
Jonathan, she was visiting the pyramids, getting idea for a new Cleopatra program or something. I mean, obviously.
No, it would be much more weird than... She'd be the pyramid or something. And
it would be great.
She builds herself at the start and then at the end of the program.
Maybe she just didn't respond to Danny G. She didn't have cell service. Remember when we used to travel and you couldn't turn your cell phone on, like when you're on a cruise ship?
Data roaming, yeah.
Data roam. That's why she couldn't get in touch with him, okay?
The flower order got mixed up because of the IP address.
How do you handle the flower situation when Eteri's in Detroit? Do you leave them at the rink? I think you have to make the effort to get them.
Flora Queen, they deliver internationally. Come on, Dave.
Spend on the flowers. You know she looks at receipts, okay?
Well, and do you want to include food, a teddy bear?
I've never met a skating coach who was not obsessed with money because they work by the hour. So they know, they sense how much money a family has before they even come in the rink, okay? They don't want one of those sob stories about some who can't pay for the lessons, like, okay?
No, no Tanya Harding for them.
No. Okay?
Yeah.
None of that. All right? They want to hear about some talent who's...
They want to hear about car dealerships.
Yes. So the Stieglers. That sounds wonderful. They got Irina Rodnina for a reason. Okay? She was like,
it's true.
You mean they have boats? And Mercedes dealerships that Blanche Devereaux goes to? I will coach all of the Stiegler children. How many? Yeah,
exactly.
Do we have cousins? Come on.
Crazy.
This is what I've never met a skating coach that wasn't like, oh, like they just.
I appreciate a hustle.
It's different than gymnastics. Like they know more about the hustle.
The background of what they're getting into. Yeah. Gymnastics, they know what the parents are shaped like.
Yes, which is also very important.
And then in skating, they just want to know what the full financial picture. It's like applying to a co-op board or something.
Natasha was like. I wrote about this on my blog back in the day. They'd be like, Natasha would say like, Dave, you can always tell if someone's going to get fat. You must look at the knees. And she was like talking about one skater and she goes, thick knees. And I was like,
oh, interesting.
Now, I did not believe this at all. But this was like some sort of wonderful voodoo BS. And I'm like, fabulous. Okay, really, Russian culture is my favorite. Okay, they're
Russian
blunt,
skating culture specifically. Yeah,
dramatic. They like labels. They're into all of it. Okay,
and they get the results.
So when Plushenko's wife stole that baby from the hospital, how did like?
As one does.
As one does.
Like you do. Okay.
I think it makes her more maternal, right? But I do think do you think that that prepared her for poaching Eteri's students? Because Igor Rukhin is the latest Sambo 70 defector who is now a Plushenko Ice Angel. So we have Trusova, Zhilina, and now Rukhin, who is now moving across Moscow to become Plushenko Ice Angel. Jonathan,
Angel.
Okay. Yes. Oh my goodness. Yana was made for this, okay?
Yeah. Welcome.
I mean, she divorced the mafia, okay? She can handle Eteri.
She came out the other side of it.
Yes.
That means, like, she won. Yeah.
Like,
she knows.
She is now, like, Kardashianing this family. I mean, think about the fame and money that she can give to these girls. I loved that the Russian articles, when they were listing Trusova's accomplishments, they were like, twice world champion of the juniors, bronze medalist of the European champion, official partner of the Adidas sportswear company. It was like,
yeah,
they're all
that
just
kept
like
coming up.
on
Yeah.
par with one another, really, right?
Right.
That's,
basically the same seas. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I loved it. Okay, these people are fun, Jonathan.
Yes, they are definitely delivering everything that we had hoped they would. Yeah.
Mishin is clearly not getting any younger. We need more top students coming, right?
Well, and I wonder, like, will Mishin have anything to do with this? Will Mishin help Plushenko in any way, or is Plushenko so staying out of the situation that they'll be on the sideline?
I think he'll be involved when there is a time to be on television.
Yeah.
When the camera is there and success is to be had, Plushenko will find his way, Jonathan. I don't want you to just feel like nervous, okay? You know when Tarasova got Klimova and Ponomarenko and she had Svetlana Alexieva do all the grunt work and she did all the pretty arms and like came in? Her fur coat and found its way to Albertville, okay?
It sure
did. She was
yeah.
there to claim the gold medal camera time, all right?
Right.
She knows how to throw her arms to get the camera on her. Hot Sergey might be there, but Plushenko will have the theatrics.
Yeah.
And we will be like,
deliver the show we've been waiting for.
I don't want to be mean, because you know people say that sometimes we're mean, Jonathan. But do you feel like Sasha Plushenko needs to start getting to work and doing fewer shows? I mean, you know how like Cindy Brady on the Brady Bunch.
Well, you're going to miss that window of opportunity to be relevant.
Remember
versus
Cindy
like a
Brady
side
had
show.
like the pin curls and the lisp, and she was like really cute and like wanted mommy to get her voice back for Christmas. But then she got like the long braid pigtails, and they weren't so cute after a while. Then we had to cancel the show.
Well, it's like when the Cosby Show had to come up with Raven Simone.
Yes, because Rudy aged
got
out.
too old. Yeah.
They either need to have another kid, or Sasha Plushenko needs to start getting some jumps, because I'm not impressed, all right?
It's time to elevate or...
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, like, Evgeni, like... Sometimes, like, I don't know if he's going to make that triple toe in his show when he does the running man in place and then goes and does it. Like, we need new stars of the show, like Trusova.
Right.
So, I don't know. There was actually another, he gave another, I was going to make another Russian video at the start, but it just, like, felt so tone deaf that I was like, I don't know. It was like, you know, we all were feeling a little down, but I thought it was hysterical that he was speaking out about that he doesn't feel that Zagitova and Medvedeva are paid enough for the shows that they're in. And at the same time, there was a scandal that someone that worked at the Sambo 70 rink had actually signed the documents for Zagitova, and that they were getting like a huge cut, and they didn't know if it was a whole money laundering thing. And there was, which we've kind of heard, even in Katya Gordieva's book, that the Russian Federation would take a lot of the money from the skaters throughout history. So none of it seemed like news. So I was like, I don't know if that's the scandal we want to get into this week.
Exactly.
That just seems like a Wednesday.
Such a different world, right? Yeah.
Right. So, I don't know, but yes, it's just more fun people, Jonathan. This is...
Right? Well, wonders never cease.
Who do you think's going to leave next? Okay, Who do you think it's?
Well, I'm intrigued by Samsonov. I'm intrigued what happens with Samsonov moving forward.
He's your favorite. I feel that you like his parted hair. You like a Josh Groban program. There's something about you and Josh. Like,
flopper singer to the stars. There's something about him that's so sweet. I really like the skating, and yet it concerns me his like relationship with skating that we see. So I just want to see him do well.
I would like Arseny and his brother to maybe become ice angels. Not because I want them to be influenced by Plushenko in any way, but maybe they could get more shows. They could I mean, who's going to take Hot Sergei's place and work with the younger skaters? We can't have Danny G doing any more programs. He's already tapped out.
Well, it's not fun when someone has such a corner on that market because it's so the same product. Yes, we happen to be lucky that the top three of this season were at least different enough, but the formulas, when we see too much of the formula, we're ready for at least something different.
And the Svetlana Panova Snow Leopards, they have better skating skills, but they don't seem to really get it done overall.
Yeah. And what's Boyanova doing? You know, she's got her few, right?
I mean, we have her few there.
Danielian, and
I mean, her skaters are great at popping and blowing Grand Prix, but then having like one or two good competitions a year.
And usually exciting ones at that. Yeah, like...
She did give us Kovtun, though. I mean,
I know. But in the beginning, I thought he had great potential, at least. But
I know.
And then making out, remember the cameraman at Cup of Russia that kept panning to him?
How's Kolyada doing? I mean,
right.
You know, he always had those sneezing issues. Now we have a virus going around. Like, how is he doing? Do we know?
I have no idea. And Dmitry Aliev is always going live on Instagram, but I have no idea what he's talking about.
Do you think he's going to be even moodier after quarantine? You realize that a lot of the skaters, if there is a season next year, are all going to keep their programs. Because now we're getting to the point where there's no time to get new programs.
Right. If there's a Grand Prix.
I don't think there'll be a Grand Prix, but I think for even...
if they start a program, yeah.
So Skate Canada had a webinar, and they said that they would not allow their skaters to compete internationally unless they had at least 12 weeks to get trained and prepared for them. So you have to think that probably excludes programs because it would take that long just to get back into it in a healthy way.
And like Trusova was saying, like you can't necessarily even do the program as you're trying to come back.
Yeah.
You know, you almost need an adjustment period, then get the programs, and then train.
It might be more like 16 weeks. It might be like a couple weeks to get
just back on your feet.
And then 12 weeks of training.
What are you going to do, all those transitions and choreograph it into a triple flip after you've not been skating for months? You know, I mean.
It's interesting, though. I've started to get messages from different people, you know, hearing different rings, who's wearing a mask, who's not at these rings, what the different rules. I mean, there's different rules everywhere. I think that's the important thing. But we have heard that some skaters, because like some rinks in Georgia are opening up, people were there the next day.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess that's heartwarming. The one thing that is also a concern is that how much more expensive skating will be because unless they drop
you can't have as many people on that ice.
Okay, so the one cost that's really annoying is ice. Because you pay... The rink makes money in two ways. Well, like on a daily training. So the rink gets a cut of what you pay a coach per hour, right? They get a percentage, and that's like negotiated between the coach and the rink. But then you have to pay for ice time. And sometimes high-level skaters don't have to pay for ice time. They'll get... Or sometimes the federation covers that. But the ice time cost is usually they divide it by imagining how many skaters would be on the ice at a point in time and then setting a rate based on that. Because if you wanted to rent out the rink, it would be like maybe $300 to $400 for the hour. So if you think about that, that's why a lot of the rinks moved to hockey to fill their ice time and stuff like that when they stopped having figures for the economics of it. So if you think about it, if there can only be 8 skaters on the ice at a time, like 400 divided by 8, you're like, do I really want to go back to the rink that soon, or do I want to kind of wait until
it can be more economically feasible? Yeah.
But then you think, do you have to take some lessons so that you stay in your coach's good graces, because there's a game about lesson times and all of that, and what do you want to do? Like, do you really want to... And then do you want to have to skate and wear a mask when you're huffing and puffing?
Well, I'm sorry, like, even when I go on walks and stuff and I have it, like, there are moments I have to, like, gasp. Like, I cannot imagine.
I was talking to KJ Kindler about this, about what they're going to do with the gymnasts at Oklahoma when they go back. And I think they're trying to wait for training as much as possible to do as much, conditioning and stretching and basics outside of competitions that they don't have to be training with masks, because for breathing and everything, it's very difficult.
It really limits your oxygen intake. I think it would be very scary.
Yeah.
And just annoying if you were on balance beam or trying to do a vault and this thing is moving around.
I know. I was thinking about going to work with that. That's so strange. And
yeah.
But my office, we hear so many different things about when we could go back. But the thing is that in office buildings, now that they can work from home, I think a lot of people are wondering, do we really need the office? Like,
right. I think a lot of those shifts will be happening. Yeah.
And then you kind of think about, like, we don't sit 6 feet apart. And we were one of those companies that did the whole open floor plan thing. So, like, there's only like a 6-inch barrier, like, on the desk between, like, me
like those. Do you remember you could go to a restaurant in, like, the late 80s, early 90s, and the smoking section would be like a half wall partition between you? Like, the smoke doesn't just go across that air or something. Like, yeah, same
it's
idea.
really like a peeing section in the pool. Okay, and I like to go in to an old, like, a restaurant where you knew where the smoking section was. In my mind, I can, like, still smell the smoke.
It's like, yeah, it's still on your clothes somewhere, or in your hair somewhere.
I know exactly where it was at, like, certain restaurants, so.
Yeah, crazy.
How did we live
It'll
like
be
that?
interesting.
I don't know. It's going to be a very different world. And not just with, what was her name on A Different World? Whitley.
Oh, I loved Whitney from A Different World.
Was it Whitney or Whitley? Whitney. It was Jasmine Guy, right? That's who played her.
Yeah. No, I thought it was Whitney, but it could have been Whitley. Okay. So I guess I am offering no insight.
Her boyfriend was Dwayne,
she was great.
Right? And
Dwayne, yeah. She always put in that
glasses.
Okay. Yeah. Good looking.
I don't think we're allowed to like that show anymore. That was Cosby. It was...
Oh, well, but it was for the time, it was an excellent show.
It was an excellent show. Okay.
I enjoyed it. It was no 227, let's be honest. That was like...
Jack Hay.
Yeah, exactly. A different version of the Golden Girls, really.
So, okay, everyone. La has an idea for us that she thinks that we should do all the different workouts that skaters offer. And it's so hard because now everyone has a Zoom class and everyone wants to self-promote.
Understood.
I'm working out like 3 hours a day, Jonathan. I'm like,
this is incredible.
Max. I'm making videos, I'm working out, I'm working from home, I'm tutoring. I don't really have enough time. And then we have like our friend Ricky, who's so nice, from California. He's like, I think I can really help your line. And I'm like, okay, that's very helpful. You don't actually know all the exercises that I'm doing. And like Fleur is helping my line and my stretch class and this, like, these hamstrings only have so much in them, okay? And do you expect me to do lunges after
I have 8 full-time jobs, yeah.
I don't know. This is...
It's intense. You're going to be the one that comes out of quarantine.
Jonathan? How much are you practicing your vocalizing?
Well, it goes in bursts of motivation. Like, some weeks I'm doing it nonstop, and 1 week will go by and I realize I haven't done it at all. Because without that, like, end
the goal.
Date or goal or something, it's hard for me. I could make my own, but I'm not as good adhering to it, I find. But I keep good structure.
Zoom classes? Do we all vocalize?
Well, I've been teaching voice over FaceTime and Zoom, and it's you can actually do it if you know the student already and like know the voice, because any distortion or like Zoom compresses the audio, and we know from these damn microphones when we try to do this, like it can always be a mess. But if you know the voice already, it actually kind of you can get work done. But if it's a brand new one, I don't know, it's a little trickier. Yeah, in the same way, I would imagine for an exercise Zoom class, if someone like Victor could put his hands and move your shoulder, you will inevitably feel it different than if he's kind of looking through the screen, assuming you could move it, you know?
Yeah. I don't know. It's all...
We're finding a way. We're doing the best we can.
You know, you find out how smart and impressive certain people are and how resourceful they are over Zoom versus the others. It's interesting.
And how tech savvy. Well, we know from the damn show.
Also, Jonathan and I are going to judge the 2002 Olympics this week. Now, correct me if I'm wrong here. Did Joe Inman not invite himself to rejudge the event with us on the Twitter? Isn't that what happened?
Well, I kind of threw it out there and he agreed, I think, is how that worked. I'd have to go back and check. The thing is, I understand as in that position, and as he still judges at the national level.
But I thought he doesn't. I thought they aged him out. He's not still judging
nationally. No, they aged him
nationally.
out internationally.
But they still put him on nationals? Are we sure?
Yeah. He's still
I think he just consults.
Oh. I think he might still technically be allowed to judge.
I think he's might judge in his own mind, but I don't think he's judging at U.S. National.
But remember, I think it, and you agree, we've always wanted Krista Fassi on, but she's had a hesitation because she fears there's going to be a gotcha moment or something. No,
that's not her thing. She doesn't want to appear on camera. She's Austrian royalty, and she wants her best lighting, Jonathan, okay?
Okay, well, then let's get you some, Krista. You'll be great. Listen. But, I wonder also if he thinks we're coming for him because of his marks or something like that.
There will be. Mary Lou Reef is going to come for him, okay? Evan
She's been coming for him
Evan
for
Perlstein
years,
was already coming for us for our opinions before we even had them. And I'm like, I didn't even watch it yet.
Yeah.
And I was like, don't worry, Evan. I'll take all of your notes into account. You're the audience of one, just like Trump, okay? Basically, I am Dr. Fauci and you are Trump and you are, yes.
Okay, exactly. But don't worry because you both got Tom Z.
So, yes. So, anyway, Joe Inman, basically in my mind, wanted to judge this event with us.
Truly.
But what's so funny is that, we review the events. Now, Joe, I also watched this event back in 2002. My gay ass sat in front of my television screen, wanted Michelle to pull this off. I could give marks based on them, too. Because he can no longer find his notes, he doesn't want to discuss and doesn't want to...
He was convinced that a lot of it
Does he feel like we're opening the Torah and that his marks are somehow one of, the sacred scrolls? Because... No,
I think he's... I would imagine he's afraid that it's up for attack. So I think that...
And his marks have been attacked for years. And
yeah.
You can actually have a discussion about, maybe based on how skating is scored now, that I would judge this a little bit differently, or that, and plus we're watching something on TV versus in person, and things are different, and but it was just such a strange...
I wonder if he just never wanted to be quoted as saying he would have given a different mark.
I don't know, Jonathan. The other week, I shared a video of Tanya Harding, around the same time that maybe he was invited, and he started writing about Tanya in 88 like it was when she landed the triple axel in 91.
And then admitted he thought we were talking about 91. As if that's the only program she ever gave, which is, I think, what a lot of people think.
I was just so... I was just confused. I was like, well, Joe, we're having you on to talk about your expertise. I'm sure that you're going to let us know that you want them to skate in time with the music, as that is very important to you.
Phrasing.
I thought, we could talk about the phrasing of Arena Slutskaya.
Well, and just legitimate questions of what it's like to judge that event. What really is said to you? What do people try to do? What do people not try to do?
Well, I mentally prepared myself to be judging this with Joe Inman, so we're going to judge it, Jonathan. Joe
we can have a printout of him and read what his marks were.
If Joe, we're going to have it be invisible Joe Inman, and then we could just talk about phrasing, okay?
Yeah, great. We could even set up a third Skype screen with just a headshot.
Maybe I like his red glasses. I like his artwork in the background.
He's great, but
Joe,
he's great, especially in conversation.
Joe,
I feel him get tight.
From one queen to another. Get your behind on Skype. We'll talk about this. It won't be that dramatic, okay? It's going to be on Patreon.
We will protect you.
All right?
Yeah. Yeah,
if you don't think that Mary Lou Reef didn't look up your address in, the D.C. area and, send
She's known for years. If she was going to do something, she would have done it already. So.
She's a nice woman. She lives down the shore. She was a teacher, okay? Educating our youth. Please.
I'm allergic to the conversation, okay?
Come on, Joe. All right? Get your red
Yeah.
glasses on. You get that beautiful artwork in the background. You get your snobby musician self there. You and Jonathan and my elitist writer ass, we'll just like all soak up each other's pretentiousness and
Pontificate,
critical
yeah.
personality.
I wonder if we should remind him it's for Patreon, because Patreon we can have more fun and it's a little looser. You know what I mean?
I'll need you to handle this one because sometimes, I have to like
I
take
got
deep
you.
breaths.
I got
And
you.
I'll want to be like,
See God in everyone.
if not, should we just have Doug join us? Should we just have Doug Hall?
Or Michelle. or rather, Danny Kwan.
Do you think Danny Kwan like rented out the ice?
Yeah, he would have. Right now. He would have tried to get
I was
Michelle.
trying to work in my mind where each person would be skating. Because it has to be a private rink.
Yeah.
And if you can do it safely, who's to say that you shouldn't, right? Like, we have to keep the economy going. Okay, we hear this every day.
Well, it's about if safety is the primary concern and you're able to ensure that for yourself, then there you go.
I mean, and couldn't you picture Arthur Liu running the Zamboni so that Alyssa could practice? I mean, come on, okay?
Yes, 100%.
And I was thinking, like, where would they train? And then I was like, Danny Kwan. Like, it just came to me. I'm not saying it happened. I'm saying that
Could be a source.
someone like that.
You're just asking questions.
Like, I don't know. We need, yes, I don't know. I don't.
Maybe you're going to call him now. Apply some of that Victor Petrenko jumping technique.
Apparently, Alexia Paganini was in Georgia the day that rink opened and was training there. So, good for
Interesting.
her. You know what?
Yeah.
That's effort, okay?
That maybe surprises me. I didn't realize she would be that person.
Listen, I did a class with Isadora Williams, who I love. But Isadora is known for maybe not being the hardest working skater at all times, okay?
A Brazilian treasure.
From Virginia, right? We were doing this class with her, and we did this ab workout, and she was like, my abs were dying. And I'm like, girl, we have been working out for 2 months, doing like ab exercises and planks and push-ups, and I was like, you did abs for 5 minutes, and you're dying. You're an elite athlete. You went to the Olympics, not once, but twice. Like,
Yeah.
girl, have you not done... like, what?
Yeah. Viva Brazil. Yeah.
Yes. Listen, as we said, Jonathan, this quarantine is going to teach us which skaters are working hard, who is doing the poaching, who is prepared. Let me tell you, Yana is coming, okay?
If you're good, she's coming to get you.
She should steal some Japanese skaters, too. I mean, they have money, okay?
Yeah, 100%.
Plushenko should get some of those Japanese sponsorships, okay? He can become big in Japan again. Maybe Hanyu and Plushenko could be doing some Dima Bilan, like jiving in commercials for some things, okay?
100%.
What is that like stuff that Hanyu sells, like the ice cream or the... I mean, I don't...
I just remember Oda with the frying pan and the egg on his head while he was jumping. Do you remember that one? That was my favorite.
It's a wonderful country. I love it. I think that
Yeah.
I enjoy their appreciation of cartoons. I am all for it, okay?
Yeah.
I enjoyed that Yuri on Ice. That was such a safe sport. It was
Disaster.
so true to life
Yeah.
about inappropriate relationships between skating coaches, and it felt very appropriate, okay? It was on
the
nose.
Swiss skater in particular at the end of that one program at the Grand Prix final when you're like...
And it's so hard because it's like, do we address this? Lambiel's a very beloved skater. We don't. Look, it walks like a duck. It talks like a duck. It quacks like a duck.
It's inappropriate with students like a duck.
But does it have feathers? I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay?
Exactly.
But then when they were quarantining together and working out together,
Talk about double standards in its own way. You know what I mean?
On the ISU channel.
Yeah.
Hold
No
it,
less.
Hold it as you look sexy, everyone. Bye.